Before we dive into any techniques, there's something that's often overlooked when we speak about the breath. Have you ever questioned why your lungs are one of the few organs that can be controlled consciously, but also when we're not thinking about it, we take about 20,000 breaths per day? So we need to question, am I breathing correctly in the unconscious time? Because that's where I'm taking most of my breaths. And by tuning into how we breathe and why it matters, every technique you learn will not only make more sense, but also be far more effective. Okay, so that will allow you to enhance every one of those breaths from the conscious side, but to the unconscious side. Now, remember this as we go through. Evolution happens very, very slowly. However, in today's world, we can go in one generation, we can go from manual telephones to iPhones to AI, all in one generation, right? And it's like our bodies are still using dial up internet speed to handle modern day apps and streaming sites that we've become used to, right? Which can leave us feeling very, very overwhelmed and out of breath. Now, picture this, right? You're at work. Some crazy email comes through from a client or whatever, really annoyed at something you missed. So you're trying to think about how to get back to them, but then you get distracted because you don't like the thought of it. So you go onto your phone, you start scrolling through, you start seeing content that kind of upsets you a bit because it's some views you're not particularly a fan of. And then your phone pings, and in 5 minutes, you've got a meeting coming up and you have not prepared for it. You completely slipped your mind. None of these events are physical threats, right? But your body is already in battle mode, right? The adrenaline's pumping, the cortisol surging, and you're just sitting there. It's like revving your car's engine while in park, and like all that energy just goes nowhere. So, how do we ensure our body isn't responding to these low grade modern stressors as though they're big physical threats? Okay, especially while we aren't conscious that it's happening to us most of the day, right? Most breath work focuses in the moments you're actively controlling the breath, right? But what about the rest of the time? And that's where CO2 tolerance comes in, right? And our ability to increase it can have incredible results. It takes time, which is why no one goes into it that much, right? So CO2 buildup is actually what triggers our body to breathe automatically. Simply put, if your tolerance is low, you want to breathe more often, right? That very anxious breath. However, your tolerance is high, your body will naturally slow down the breath. And these low grade stressors tend to compound this feeling of this fast breathing, right? Our bodies think we need to be ready for action, okay? Now, improving our CO2 tolerance effectively upgrades our automatic breathing, right? The kind you do without thinking. So, understanding how we do this gives us basically a manual reboot and upgrade, okay? So, understanding CO2 is the first step in this journey. And like any skill, it does take practice and consistency. But the payoff is better sleep, sharper focus, calmer mind, a body that manages stress far more effectively. And this is why I really want to touch on the why we're doing this, okay? Because it can feel disheartening and we're not doing the fun stuff sometimes, but actually understanding why we're doing this is so crucial. So, key takeaways from today are modern advancements are moving faster than our bodies can adapt to. Conscious breathing can help retrain and better adapt our unconscious breathing. And increasing our CO2 tolerance is key to regulating our breathing under new age stresses. So, Let's start going through some of the new techniques we're going to learn. And starting tomorrow, we're going to focus on something that is incredibly key.